Men's lives are hard. Is feminism to blame? As I've been researching for content ideas for my YouTube channel, I've come across numerous accounts where essentially the premise of the topics discussed is men have it really hard and feminism is to blame. Women are to blame because feminism has focused on female empowerment and women are taking their rights to live in a way that they want to live. So today I really wanted to do this video because I felt repulsed, I felt sick in my stomach by seeing a lot of content that was very harmful and malicious towards both men and women. And let me explain a little bit more. I am here to promote secure, loving relationships. A lot of the content I've seen is totally against it. And this is why I really wanted to talk to you about this idea about men's struggles and whether feminism is to blame or is there something else going on. We will look at factors that will make men's lives difficult and why that might be. And stick around until the end and I will give you a tip on how to start changing your life for the better if you find yourself struggling in life right now. Hi, my name is Dr. Marie. I'm a registered psychologist, a relationship therapist, and a coach for men who want to become more confident in dating. And for the context, I want to tell you a little bit about my own background. Because the way we look at the world is influenced by both our own experiences, but also by our openness to look at the world from different perspectives. I grew up in Finland, which is one of the Nordic countries, and it is one of the most equal countries in terms of gender equality. And there are lots of social policies that support well-being for all residents, both men and women. Currently, I live in the UK and I've been living here for a long time, so I've also seen a lot of changes happening here. I'm also an attachment trauma therapist, counseling psychologist, focusing on attachment trauma, and attachment meaning the early relationship, trauma that links back to your early relationships. So this is how I see the world. And my views have been also influenced by all of the client work I've been doing in the past 15 or so years. So I want to look at men's lives are hard, but is feminism to blame? Men's lives are hard. There's competition for resources for women. There's pressure to perform. There are more single men than ever before who are sexless without choice, meaning that they are struggling to find a relationship and having lots of social problems. There are lack of resources for men many times in many areas. There's addiction and mental health problems. It is also for many men very difficult to know how to be in the relationship or how to date, how to find a relationship and how to be in a relationship. And this is just scratching the surface of all the difficulties that many men face today. So there are two very loud voices that are saying that they're advocating for men, but actually the reality might be quite different and you might be surprised by what I'm going to tell you now. So these two movements that are allegedly promoting men's rights are red pill and black pill movements. And both of them view women either as the enemy, but also as the target. So if you're not familiar with these terms, they come from the film Matrix, where a character had to choose between a red pill, which would mean that they would see the truth, and the blue pill, which would mean that their life would be continuing as before without awareness. In this case, red pill refers to how men are being oppressed by feminism, by women. And there's hypergamy, which means that women only accept and are only interested in the top 1% or top 5% of men. And you can see my other videos talking about these claims. There's the 660s video, and also do women really only want to date the top 1% of men? So you can check those out. So essentially, red pill supporters see women, feminism, stopping men from having and getting what belongs to them. And essentially that feminism in some ways, as I understand it, is blocking their access to their right, which is sex. That women are portrayed as these money-grabbing, these very calculated creatures. On the other hand, black pill movement refers to as a low status man, which would mean a man who doesn't have access to resources, a man who is not over 6 foot, is not athletic, doesn't have all of these 6'6", and is unattractive, that there is nothing they can do to change their position in the hierarchy of men. All of this makes me feel sick and really quite angry. I have watched quite a lot of videos and I've debated whether I even want to write about it, whether I want to talk about it, because every time I do and I look at any content, it makes me feel really sick and cross. It makes me feel really sick and cross because there is so much bullshit about both men and women. And there are these accounts who are really exploiting men. And there are lots of men who are struggling and hearing, and the way social media platforms work is that when the algorithms work and when you start to watch something, you get more and more and more extreme content, then what you believe is what you see, because your world is so limited. And it makes me really angry and I guess quite protective over people, even if I don't know you, but because I know that the reality in life is so different from the image and the views and the thoughts being promoted by these creators who are benefiting and exploiting men who are really insecure and maybe have lacked real positive male guidance, and then come to believe that actually women are there to blame, when the reality is that there are so many other factors that are contributing, and these accounts are actually exploiting men who need proper guidance and support and maybe have mental health problems. And so although I felt really angry and felt physically sick doing this, my research process, I really wanted to do this video because I want you to start thinking for you. I want you to have a clearer idea what's really going on when you see these videos. They might seem funny, they might seem like there's nothing wrong with, or I'll just a little bit watch this and so on. But fundamentally, all of the information that you consume leaves something with you, like a resin with you. And you may have heard that saying that you are the sum of those 5 people you surround yourself with. And if you surround yourself and if you spend time consuming this sort of very negative, critical content, what will become of you is that you start to believe that that is the truth in life. But as in anything, there are so many other reasons and views to explore. So let's look at some of these claims about feminism. So essentially, what is feminism? What does it even mean? It is not about male bashing, not at all. Feminism is about promoting women to have the same rights as anyone else. We are all equal as humans. And women many times, and still in many countries, do not have the same rights as men. Feminism is all about gender equality and promoting everyone's rights to have this right to equal pay, to healthcare, to safety, everything. It's about respecting and having the right to be oneself as a woman. And this applies to men too. And yes, there needs to be positive movement towards men's rights too, but not in this way that promotes bashing feminism or bashing women, because that is not helpful in any way at all. Feminism is about equality. Are men worse off because women want to be paid the same for the same job? No. Are men worse off if a woman decides for her body whether she wants to carry a child, not carry a child, whether she and her partner decides who's looking after the children if they decide to have a family, who's going to look after them perhaps more whilst the other one is providing more? No, that is not a way for men. When women's rights are supported, then men's rights are supported, because it means that everyone as a human is being supported. Are there angry women who are bashing men? Absolutely there are. Often these are women who have had very difficult life experiences themselves. They may struggle with relationships with themselves, and essentially they're doing exactly the same as these red pill guys. Put yourself on a higher pedestal. When you put yourself on a pedestal and look at others as less than, that is not healthy self-esteem. That is coming from fear. When we can truly connect with others, whether it's in a relationship or in life in general, we need to see ourselves as equal with the others. And only that way we can have healthy relationships. The other point I wanted to make is that these accounts, these men, put themselves in this grandiose position, seeing themselves as better than. And Terry Real is a family therapist who talks about this a lot in relationships. So you may check him out and his work. These men who put themselves in this position and they are preaching this idea that women are to blame or feminism is to blame for male suffering. They know that it will create a reaction. It will create perhaps fame for them, which brings money. So they are essentially, if you watch that content, they are using you to get their ideas to a bigger audience, and they're using you to make money, but they're not really thinking about you, because what really brings happiness and life satisfaction is having healthy self-esteem, having good boundaries, which is also linked to healthy self-esteem. It's about building relationships and building internal relationship with yourself, but also building relationships outside, having a purpose in life. And all of those things are really important for good quality of life. And all of those accounts who are blaming women and feminism, they are not helping you to get there. So what you need to do instead is to start critically evaluate the content that you consume. There is, for example, a channel that is worth checking out. It is a Man Talks podcast by Connor Beaton, and he has a very positive channel that will help you to grow. If we go back to men's lives are hard, is feminism to blame? Feminism is not to blame. What the real issues are, for example, inadequate parenting in childhood, because that's where we get our self-esteem as a young person. What we learn about life and relationships comes from home. It is those lack of real connections in childhood, feeling safe, supported, poverty, lack of social structures that support families. It is addictions, mental health problems, lack of real positive role models, especially for boys who need a father figure who is guiding them. I know from my own family, my boys, they would be unruly if they didn't have strong boundaries, and then also an outlet for all of that energy, which is sports in our family. If they spend all of their days in front of the screens, not doing any physical activities, they would turn into absolute monsters. And I can see how this will then later on, even in life, be for teenage boys and young males. If there aren't positive outlets, we all need purpose in life. It is all of those things that make men's lives difficult. So start with one thing, and maybe that's thinking about what is your purpose in life. And when you start doing one small shift a day, it will start snowballing. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you want to become your most confident self, improve your relationships, and find love. There are so many women who are looking for a loving relationship. And that is possible for you too. If you want to become more confident in dating, don't forget to download my Dating Confidence Kickstart Guide, and you will get actionable confidence boosting activities for you so that you can start building the life and the relationships that you want to have in the future. If you want to understand more about what really impacts and what makes men's lives so difficult, what are the influencing factors, I would be more than happy to do another video and talking about, especially from mental health point of view, what are the influencing factors and how to change your life. You can leave comments in the below. I hope you have a good day. See you soon. Bye.